Hello, this is for day 131 of Bible in 1 Year and the Bible text, 2 Kings chapters 13 to 14 and then John chapter 2. So let's begin with the prayer. Lord, we thank you for another day that you've given us. Thank you for the opportunity, the privilege to be able to serve you and do the work of God. And Lord, pray that you would guide us every day of our lives. Thank you, Lord, for all the blessings, for all the lessons, for the guidance, for the gift of salvation. And we'd like to ask, Lord, for the salvation as well of our lost loved ones and all the visitors, guests that we have during church service. And we pray, Lord, that you would continue to bless everyone who are part of the ministry, our pastors, missionaries, the church workers, church members, as well as the Bible school students and the teachers, Lord. And I pray that you would continue to guide us, bless us, provide for our needs. And I pray that you would enlighten us as we read your word for today. And we ask for forgiveness as well. Thank you, Lord, and these we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, 2 Kings chapter 13. In the 23rd year of Joash, the son of Ahaziah, king of Judah, Jehoahaz, the son of Jehu, began to reign over Israel in Samaria, and reigned 17 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, and followed the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, which made Israel to sin. He departed not therefrom. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, and he delivered them into the hand of Hazael, king of Syria, and into the hand of Benhadad, the son of Hazael, all their days. And Jehoahaz besought the Lord, and the Lord hearkened unto him, for he saw the oppression of Israel, because the king of Syria oppressed them. And the Lord gave Israel a Saviour, so that they went out from under the hand of the Syrians, and the children of Israel dwelt in their tents as before time. Nevertheless they departed not from the sins of the house of Jeroboam, who made Israel sin, but walked therein, and there remained a grove also in Samaria. Neither did he leave of the people to Jehoahaz but 50 horsemen, and 10 chariots, and 10,000 footmen. For the king of Syria had destroyed them, and had made them like the dust by threshing. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoahaz, and all that he did in his might, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Jehoahaz slept with his fathers, and they buried him in Samaria, and Joash his son reigned in his stead. In the 37th year of Joash, king of Judah, began Jehoash, the son of Jehoahaz, to reign over Israel in Samaria, and reigned 16 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, and he departed not from all the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel sin, but he walked therein. And the rest of the acts of Joash, and all that he did, and his might, wherewith he fought against Amaziah, king of Judah, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Joash slept with his fathers, and Jeroboam sat upon his throne, and Joash was buried in Samaria with the kings of Israel. Now Elisha was fallen sick of his sickness, whereof he died, and Joash the king of Israel came down unto him, and wept over his face, and said, O my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And Elisha said unto him, Take bow and arrows. And he took unto him bow and arrows. And he said to the king of Israel, Put thine hand upon the bow. And he put his hand upon it. And Elisha put his hands upon the king's hands. And he said, Open the window eastward. And he opened it. Then Elisha said, Shoot. And he shot. And he said, The arrow of the Lord's deliverance, and the arrow of deliverance from Syria. For thou shalt smite the Syrians of Aphek, till thou have consumed them. And he said, Take the arrows. And he took them. And he said unto the king of Israel, Smite upon the ground. And he smote thrice, and stayed. And the man of God was wroth with him, and said, Thou shouldest have smitten 5 or 6 times. Then hast thou smitten Syria, till thou hadst consumed it. Whereas now thou shalt smite Syria but thrice. And Elisha died, and they buried him. And the bands of the Moabites invaded the land at the coming in of the year. And it came to pass, as they were burying a man, that, behold, they spied a band of men, and they cast the man into the sepulchre of Elisha. And when the man was let down, and touched the bones of Elisha, he revived, and stood up on his feet. But Hazael king of Syria oppressed Israel all the days of Jehoahaz. And the Lord was gracious unto them, and had compassion on them, and had respect unto them, because of his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and would not destroy them, neither cast he them from his presence as yet. So Hazael king of Syria died, and Benhadad his son reigned in his stead, and Jehoash the son of Jehoahaz took again out of the hand of Benhadad the son of Hazael the cities which he had taken out of the hand of Jehoahaz his father by war. 3 times did Joash beat him and recover the cities of Israel. 2 Kings chapter 14. In the 2nd year of Joash the son of Jehoahaz, king of Israel, reigned Amaziah the son of Joash, king of Judah. He was 25 years old when he began to reign, and reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jehoaddan of Jerusalem, and he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord. Yet not like David his father, he did according to all things as Joash his father did. Howbeit the high places were not taken away, as yet the people did sacrifice and burnt incense in the high places. And it came to pass, as soon as the kingdom was confirmed in his hand, that he slew his servants, which had slain the king his father. But the children of the murderers he slew not, according unto that which is written in the book of the law of Moses, wherein the Lord commanded, saying, The father shall not be put to death for the children, nor the children be put to death for the fathers, but every man shall be put to death for his own sin. He slew of Edom in the valley of Salt 10,000, and took Salah by war, and called the name of Joktheel unto this day. The name of it Joktheel unto this day. Then Amaziah sent messengers to Jehoash, the son of Jehoahaz, son of Jehu, king of Israel, saying, Come, let us look one another in the face. And Jehoash, the king of Israel, sent to Amaziah, king of Judah, saying, The thistle that was in Lebanon sent to the cedar that was in Lebanon, saying, Give thy daughter to my son to wife. And there passed by a wild beast that was in Lebanon, and threw down the thistle. Thou hast indeed smitten Edom, and thine heart hath lifted thee up. Glory of this, and tarry at home. For why shouldest thou meddle to thy hurt, that thou shouldest fall, even thou and Judah with thee? But Amaziah would not hear. Therefore Jehoash, king of Israel, went up, and he and Amaziah, king of Judah, looked one another in the face at Bethshemesh, which belongeth to Judah. And Judah was put to the worse before Israel, and they fled every man to their tents. And Jehoash, king of Israel, took Amaziah, king of Judah, the son of Jehoash, the son of Ahaziah, at Bethshemesh, and came to Jerusalem, and brake down the wall of Jerusalem from the gate of Ephraim unto the corner gate 400 cubits. And he took all the gold and silver, and all the vessels that were found in the house of the Lord, and in the treasures of the king's house, and hostages, and returned to Samaria. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoash which he did in his might, and how he fought with Amaziah king of Judah, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Jehoash slept with his fathers, and was buried in Samaria, with the kings of Israel, and Jeroboam his son reigned in his stead. And Amaziah the son of Joash king of Judah lived after the death of Jehoash, son of Jehoahaz, king of Israel, 15 years. And the rest of the acts of Amaziah, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? Now they made a conspiracy against him in Jerusalem, and he fled to Lachish. But they sent after him to Lachish, and slew him there. And they brought him on horses, and he was buried at Jerusalem with his fathers in the city of David. And all the people of Judah took Azariah, which was 16 years old, and made him king instead of his father Amaziah. He built Elath, and restored it to Judah. After that the king slept with his fathers. In the 15th year Amaziah the son of Joash king of Judah, Jeroboam the son of Joash king of Israel began to reign in Samaria, and reigned 41 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. He departed not from all the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. He restored the coast of Israel from the entering of Hamath unto the sea of the plain, according to the word of the Lord God of Israel, which he spake by the hand of his servant Jonah, the son of Amittai the prophet, which was of Gath-hepher. For the Lord saw the affliction of Israel, that it was very bitter, for there was not any shut up, nor any left, nor any helper for Israel. And the Lord said not that he would blot out the name of Israel from under heaven. But he saved them by the hand of Jeroboam the son of Joash. Now the rest of the acts of Jeroboam, and all that he did in his might, how he warred, and how he recovered Damascus and Hamath, which belonged to Judah, for Israel, are they not written in the book of the chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Jeroboam slept with his fathers, even with the kings of Israel, and Zechariah his son reigned in his stead. Alright, now we go to John chapter 2. On the third day there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. And both Jesus was called and his disciples to the marriage. And when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus said unto him, They have no wine. Jesus said unto her, Woman, what have I to do with thee? Mine hour is not yet come. His mother saith unto the servants, Whatsoever he saith unto you, do it. And there were set there 6 water pots of stone, after the manner of the purifying of the Jews, containing 2 or 3 firkins apiece. Jesus said unto them, Fill the water pots with water. And they filled them up to the brim. And he said unto them, Draw out now, and bear unto the governor of the feast. And they bare it. When the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine, and knew not whence it was, but the servants which drew the water knew, the governor of the feast called the bridegroom, and said unto him, Every man at the beginning does set forth good wine, and when men have well drunk, then that which is worse. But thou hast kept the good wine until now. This beginning of miracles did Jesus in Cana of Galilee, and manifested forth his glory, and his disciples believed on him. After these he went down to Capernaum, he and his mother and his brethren and his disciples, and they continued there not many days. And the Jews' Passover was at hand, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem, and found in the temple those that sold oxen, and sheep, and doves, and the chargers of money sitting. And when he had made a scourge of small cords, he drove them all out of the temple, and the sheep, and the oxen, and poured out the chargers' money, and overthrew the tables, and said unto them that sold doves, Take these things hence, make not my Father's house an house of merchandise. And his disciples remembered that it was written, The zeal of thine house hath eaten me up. Then answered the Jews and said unto him, What sign showest thou unto us, seeing that thou doest these things? Jesus answered and said unto them, Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up. Then said the Jews, 46 years was this temple in building, and wilt thou rear it up in 3 days? But he spake of the temple of his body. When therefore he was risen from the dead, his disciples remembered that he had said this unto them, and they believed the scripture, and the word which Jesus had said. Now when he was in Jerusalem at the Passover, in the feast day, many believed in his name, when they saw the miracles which he did. But Jesus did not commit himself unto them, because he knew all men, and needed not that any should testify of men, for he knew what was in men. Alright, we're done with Bible reading for day 131, a Bible in 1 year. For the reflection or something to share? I don't know, what to say? Well, I've watched the first season of The Chosen, and, there was that bit there about the marriage in Cana and how Jesus, turned the water into wine, and then they serve it to all the guests. And I think that, this is actually the first miracle that he did right before he started teaching. And then afterwards, he went to his disciples and they started teaching, and they went to the temple, and, he was not pleased that there were many sellers in the temple. It's a house of prayer and not a house of, trade. And so he was displeased. And then he mentioned there what he must do, right? He would be crucified, and then he would rise up the 3rd day. And it's essentially, a fulfillment of a prophecy from the scriptures, and the disciples have remembered it when he rose up, after his crucifixion. And I think it's, very important to remember that Jesus can do miracles. He can work miracles. He not only taught the people, he not only healed the sick, but he really, made a lot of miracles, especially of course healing the sick that hasn't been healed in so long. So those are real miracles. And these days in the lives of Christians and sometimes non-Christians as well, they would experience the miracles of God, but in a way they're expecting it to be a big kind of thing, but sometimes all of it are, or majority of it are, small things, simple things that you would not realize that it is a miracle, that the hand of God is in that particular event, right? That God is behind what happened. And so it's important that people, especially Christians, should recognize that God is working in their lives, and all the blessings, even the blessings in disguise that they are receiving, are from the Lord, and they happen for a reason. Okay. I actually wanted to, I'm recording this May 13, 2021, and there were news about the, conflict between Israel and, what was it? Gaza, Hamas in Gaza, and so I've been reading the comments, below the clip or the news, and I think someone has mentioned that in the Old Testament, I think, there's the concept of revenge that, we've read, of course, that Israel has been, fighting their enemies, and they've essentially been fighting over land, right? The promised land flowing with milk and honey. Yes, they've allowed strangers in, but I think there was always a conflict on who should own the land, and they could not agree. And I think even now that's still the reason for the conflict, because there were, I think, Palestinians who are about to be evicted, something like that, right? The Israelites are planning to evict them from Jerusalem or something. And so it caused them conflict, and so now there are bombings in the area, so that's not good. So, Old Testament, yes, there are a lot of, fightings, battles, revenge, and there's a lot of that as well. And in the New Testament, someone in the comments again mentioned that in the New Testament, it's all about, forgiveness, accepting each other, respecting each other. And I think that, essentially it would be the classifications, or what do you call it? The identification that essentially divides us. It's not essentially it's not really the religion, because, even in one nation, there would be numerous, religions that are in effect. But, when it comes to country against the country, of course, there is that, I don't know, is it by patriotism or something? They'd like their country to be recognized as a sovereign state, and so they would not want other countries or people from other countries to invade or to somehow what do you call that? Encroach on their territories. And I think it's the same with what's happening in Israel or in that area, right? So, well, human nature, there's a bit of a greed there and a bit of unforgiving heart. So, I mean, it's sad, right, that there are innocent people that are being hurt, that are getting killed because of the conflict. And of course, these conflicts are being, what I call it, driven, or being decided by the leaders. Essentially, who controls, the decision to enforce airstrikes, or who authorizes the bombing. So, I don't know. It's really hard for me to comprehend why they do what they're doing. So, I think they should. I believe that they should prioritize the safety of the people, not just their own people. But of course, there are also innocent people on the other side, and whatever conflict that they have, it's mostly between the leaders. So, let's just have all the leaders sit down and talk and not use any violence. And sometimes it's there's what do you call that? In a way, some of them are proud people, and they would boast of their territory or ownership, supposed territory or supposed ownership, and that they would not open their territories to accept strangers. Or, of course, there's already the conflict on who actually owns the land, right? And so it's going to be very difficult for them to come to an understanding. They have different views on history and who actually owns the land. So it's all complicated, but still there should be, more peaceful approach to do this, and not war, not bombings, and, people are getting hurt. Innocent children are being afraid, so it's not a good thing. Let's pray for Israel and for that area, for all the people involved, that they remain safe, and for the leaders to eventually think it over and realize what's actually important in this situation. Right. Okay, so that's it for this one. Again, this is day 131 of Bible in 1 year. We've read 2 Kings chapters 13 to 14, and then John chapter 2. Thank you, and God bless.